I'm Nardeep Khurmi. I'm a writer, director, and actor who is premiering his first feature film, Land of Gold, at the Tribeca Film Festival this year. Land of Gold is about a Punjabi American truck driver who is expecting his first child and is absolutely terrified. The week before his baby is due, he decides to take one last long-haul trucking drive across country. And along the way, he discovers Elena, an undocumented 10-year-old stowed away on his trailer. And what he thought was going to be a trip to kind of get away from it all becomes a surrogate father-daughter trip, as this man is learning how to be a father in the moment while helping shepherd this young woman to what is hopefully her last remaining family member in America. The inspiration comes from so many different places. I can remember having conversations with friends who were about to become parents, and that fear that was starting to trickle in. It was particularly palpable with my friends of color. As brown Americans, we're constantly having to redefine ourselves in the spaces we exist. That is something that I'm very interested in exploring in the story. Like, how do you, as a brown parent, raise a brown child in an America that doesn't necessarily want to give you access to all of its bounty? I look at Elena as the hope and promise of what America can give. America is not a melting pot, it's a jambalaya. Because in a melting pot, the flavors all melt together and it doesn't taste like anything. But in a jambalaya, you can taste the individual ingredients, but it's so much better together. And I think being American is celebrating the uniqueness of you. You can be anything you want, but being American is celebrating those things that make you unique and make you special. In media, in film, we tend to have these narratives that are force-fed us of immigrant children, undocumented children. There's a stereotype. I was very keen on showing a very American child who also happens to be undocumented, because that is a majority of the experience in many ways. You know, in some of my conversations with some of the undocumented young folks that I've had the privilege of interacting with, there's this interesting kind of dichotomy of like, you grow up having these dreams and then suddenly the reality comes into like, oh, I can't get a driver's license, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. And that's kind of what Elena's facing here. She's just been living her life, and then bam, she knew she had this thing that was there, but now it's hitting the reality with what happens with her parents, what happens with her family. It doesn't matter. It really fundamentally does not matter what we look like. We all want the same things. We want safety, we want security, and we want the promise of living the dream, for lack of a better term, and whatever that dream winds up being. If you are interested in watching the movie, follow our Instagram and stay tuned. We're hopefully going to be on a big streaming network within the year.